Okay, I drank the Kool-Aid. I'm gonna try this Silca stuff for my chain. I have used Squirt for many, many years. I love it, I think it's awesome. When I went from using this to this, there was a huge difference. But the question is there going to be that much difference between this and this? That's what I'm gonna tell you. But because I've been so happy with Squirt, why did I do this? And the reason why is because Father's Day came around. What are you gonna get, Dad? I have everything I want. Other than I wanna be younger, stronger, and, you know, more vibrant. But you can't buy that, so, you know, I just put this stuff on an Amazon list and my wife got it for me. I'm not paid by Squirt or this company at all. I want to be, but I'm not. So the benefit of that is I can give you the real world view of these things without worrying about any repercussions. But I'm not gonna give you the specs on how to do this and all these things. There are thousands of videos for anal retentive cyclists to watch. And I'm not gonna tell you how many watts you save by waxing your chain, but rather I'm gonna give you real world stuff that you're going to notice, or at least that I noticed. So what did I notice? Here's what happened. I took one bike out one day and one bike out the other day. Now one bike I'm using Squirt, the other bike I'm using this secret chain blend. I rode the same exact route, the same exact distance, and I'm gonna compare the chains on each bike and tell you what I found. There are 6 things that I noticed that are different between these products. And then at the end, I'll tell you exactly what I'm gonna be doing in the future if I'm gonna continue to use this stuff. Number 1, the first thing I noticed is that the wax immersion chain is a lot cleaner in between rides. On the chain that has Squirt, all you have to do in between rides is take a towel or an old rag, wipe the chain down, and then reapply Squirt in between the rollers. But what you'll notice on this chain is that there is a little bit of these black specks throughout the chain. If I go underneath here, you can see these little black specks after I get on the chain. And what happens is you just kind of do this and they're gone. And that's just wax. See, and you'll get little specks like this, but then it's just gone. So you can see this is wax, but with the chain that was immersed in wax, and then throughout this time I've been using this super secret chain coating, there's a lot less of that black, those black specks, and the chain is a lot cleaner. So this is the chain that has the Silca wax in it. And I'm just gonna take my finger like this, and you can see there really is not a whole lot there. And that right there, a lot less, that's for sure. Number 2, in terms of feel, the immersion wax wasn't that much smoother than the Squirt wax. Wishful thinking equals marginal gains. Now I'll tell you what, years and years ago, when I went from this to this, wow, there was a huge difference. When I first started using Squirt wax, the change in how it felt with the smoothness of the chain and the sound of the chain was insanely different. After the first ride of using Squirt wax, I was sold. I was never gonna oil my chain again. This was so much better. So the difference between oil and Squirt wax was just huge. But the difference between Squirt wax and the Silca products, I don't know if it's really that much different. I mean, maybe a small difference, but like I said, it might be wishful thinking. Number 3, the initial cleaning of the chain. Now with Squirt wax, what I had to do is I had to get a bottle like this, and you would use mineral spirits, and you would have to clean the factory grease off the chain. And you'd have to do this multiple times to get that crap off the chain. And then afterwards, you had to buy a special isopropyl alcohol. This is normally it's 70%. This is 91%. So a very strong alcohol to get the mineral spirits off the chain because it left a film. You'd have to clean the chain, and usually it took me literally about a day to get the factory grease off the chain. And then, and only then, were you able to apply the squirt wax. And I'll tell you, it was a headache. But with the Secret Chain stuff, they just came out with this chip, and you put it into the little crock pot, and there's some chemical reaction where it turns the factory grease into wax. I mean, holy crap, that's like turning water into wine. Rejoice. That makes life a lot more simple. And that only takes about 10 to 15 minutes. So you're talking 1 day of cleaning the chain as opposed to 10 to 15 minutes. It's a no-brainer. It's like miracle stuff. So with the Silca products, when you get a new chain, you don't have to clean the factory grease off the chain, which was a big pain in the ass. Number 4, in between uses. The reason I never wanted to do a crock pot and immerse my chain in wax is because I would watch these videos from the guy from Australia, and he would talk about taking your chain off your bike, immersing it in a wax bath, and he said you had to do it every 300 kilometers. Well, that's like 180 miles. Many people do 180 miles once a week. That means you have to wax your chain every single week. And that was a big diversion for me of why I did not want to do the immersion. So the benefit of chain wax from like Squirt, for example, is once the initial cleaning was done, you essentially never had to clean the chain again. You just wiped it off with a towel. And I'll tell you what, applying chain wax was as easy as applying oil. You just put it on and you're literally done. And you never have to take the chain off. So that was a total benefit. But I did not want to take my chain off once a week, because that means you have to use the quick link 52 times in a year. It's not recommended that you keep reusing it, although almost everybody does. You can get a Connex chain link 52 times a year. That seemed like it would start to wear out. So I did not want to use it, but then Silca came up with the in-between product. So now this is just as easy as applying this. And I'll tell you at the end how I'm going to be using this compared to the immersion. Number 5, using wax in general, the chains last a long time. When I used to use oil, my chains would last maybe 4,000, 4,500 miles. I could push it to 5,000 miles, but I'd have to buy a new chain because the chain would wear out. So I just looked at my stats right now for the Squirt wax, and because I don't have long-term results yet with the wax chain of Silca, let me tell you what I found. On my road bike, I've been using Squirt. The chain is still good. The chain has 12,836 miles on it, and it's still showing no wear. And that is the main reason why wax is really the best thing that you could do, because it makes your stuff last longer. So I would have bought 2.5 chains in the time that I've used this one. My cyclocross bike, which I'm a little rougher on, so far that has 6,877 miles on it and still shows no wear whatsoever. Now, how long is the Silca stuff going to last compared to the Squirt wax? Again, marginal gains. Will it last a wee bit longer? Maybe 500, 1,000 miles more than the Squirt wax? Who knows? Wishful thinking equals marginal gains. Now, the 6th and final thing that I've noticed about the differences is price and accessibility. Holy crap, this was expensive. This was expensive. Their crock pot was expensive. This I used to think was expensive until I got this stuff. This cost nothing. I mean, what was the price on this? $5.99. Just look on Amazon or go to your bike shop and see what the prices are. So this is a very big luxury. And like I said, I don't really have any other hobbies, so this is my jam. This is what I like to do. Some people it's cars, some people it's women, some people it's drugs. This is my thing. This is what I want to spend money on, and I like having the best stuff. Now the problem is that there was a last year I went to San Diego, and I was brought my bicycle. And, you know, San Diego, it's supposed to be sunny and 72. It's the best Southern California area imaginable. Well, we get there, and for some reason, I got on a bike ride, and I basically spent 50 miles riding in the rain. I didn't bring any of my stuff because I thought it was supposed to be sunny. And on my way back to the hotel, I realized, holy crap, I'm in deep trouble. I don't want my bike to rust and the chain to go bad. So I stopped off at a bike shop. I bought some and took care of my chain when I got back to the hotel. No big deal. This is everywhere. This is everywhere. This is not sold in bike shops, from what I can tell, at least my local bike shops. So one of the problems with using this immersion device is I'm not going to bring the crock pot with me on vacation, and I have to remember to bring this myself. But if you're in a pinch, I think that's kind of a win for Squirt Wax, because sometimes in an emergency situation, you do need to find stuff that's accessible in just your local bike shop. So in summary, that's what I've noticed about the differences between the Silca products and Squirt Wax. Here's how I'm probably going to use it. When you put the chain in the wax bath in the little crock pot, it really comes out sparkling clean, and it's pretty cool. But I just don't see it being feasible for me to do it once a week. Even though I'm totally anal retentive just like every other cyclist, I don't see myself waxing the chain in that manner all the time. I'm probably going to wax the chain in the wax bath, and then for 2 or 3 months just use this stuff, because essentially I'll wipe down the chain, apply this to the rollers, and then the next day the bike is ready to go. It's as simple as I've been using right here. But then every once in a while, if I notice the chain starting to get a little grimy and things of that nature, I will probably take it off and use the bath in the crock pot. Then, as far as the chain links are concerned, that's a big fear. I don't think I'm going to use the same chain link more than 3 times. And I have the SRAM reusable ones, and on the little packet it says it can be used 3 to 5 times. So I think I'm going to do that, and they're relatively cheap, so that's no big deal. So maybe 3, maybe 4 times a year I will reuse the link, and that would be great. If you've changed from Squirt Wax to the Silca products, or you're still using oil, that's fine. But let me know in the comments what everybody else is using and how you're going about using it. I would be curious. But so far, I am pretty pleased with both products as far as how the chains have lasted, how clean they are, and just make cycling a lot more fun.